I was exposed to Reformed faith for the first time in college through the PCA's college ministry, RUF, and was interning with RUF, thinking a lot about the implications of these things, whether or not God was calling me into ministry. I had begun to sense a pretty strong internal call to ministry. I assumed I would go to a Reformed seminary, but I just didn't know which one. And my fiance, who's now my wife, had a PCA minister in Lakeland, Florida, David McWilliams, who graduated from Westminster in the early 80s. And I wasn't familiar with him. I just happened, I don't even know how, but I got a tape of his on a Colossians 3 sermon, really talking about the implications of the gospel for our households. And I hadn't ever met David, but I listened to the sermon, and I can't remember even exactly why, but something about it was extremely compelling. There was a thoughtfulness and an incisive nature to his comments, and while he kept Christ front and center, I guess the way I've thought about it, almost a pastoral gravitas, that I don't know that I had ever heard a sermon quite like that. I began to get to know David. He became a real mentor, and I asked him, and listened to more and more of his preaching, asked him, what his counsel was regarding seminary, and he basically said, anything that's good about his preaching is the fruit of his Westminster education. And so it really, after crossing that hurdle, it was kind of when, not if, that I would attend Westminster, assuming the Lord was calling me to ministry. So I started to read. He would give me things like Machen, Voss, Gaffin, Murray, and just began to appreciate what Westminster had to offer, as sort of whet my appetite, and got here and had all of that confirmed and more.